What up, Digital Slang? You guys have requested this pair of earbuds for a long time from Hi-City, the upgraded pair of AirPod Pro clones with real ANC, real transparency mode, wireless charging, Bluetooth 5.0, Hey Siri, noise cancellation technology, and the mics, the upgraded 1562A AirHora chip for the better sound when it comes to listening to music. Overall, these are going to be as close as we can get to the originals. I have been using these for a few days. I'm going to go in and we're going to talk about it. I'll tell you how close they are to the originals right here, and I'll tell you if they're worth it. These are 70 bucks on AliExpress, so are they worth 70? We'll talk about it at the end of the video, and stay tuned to the end of the video. I do have a special treat for everybody that makes it all the way through. But let's check them out. The Hi-City AirPod Pro clones. Now, there's also real steel vents on here. That real hinge we get on the back. This is a metal hinge on the back, so overall not bad. We do have the text on the back as well as the text on the inside of that hinge. And again, these are steel on here, the real mesh, the real chrome ring on the bottom. Overall, if you put these side by side next to the real AirPod Pros, you're not going to be able to tell a difference. And I'm going to drop a video in a week or two comparing these to the real ones and how you can tell the fake ones from the real ones. Now, real quick before anybody asks, these are not going to be, they're not going to have spatial audio. They're not going to have multi-device connection. Nowhere near having that on a pair of clones. Let's just be happy with the ANC and the transparency mode that we do have right now. So they are getting better. Let's throw them in, connect them. Now we do have the real pop-up animation, and the battery percentages on here are supposed to be legit. So I'll drop a comment below over the next few days. So far, so good after a couple of days, but who knows if that will continue to be like that. A lot of times after a week or two, they start to jump around. So we'll see once we're connected. Now, if we go into settings, we go into the info, the little blue button. Of course, you can come in, rename, remap your Force Touch. And the Force Touch on here works really well, the best I've ever used on a pair of clones. I'll show you that later on in the testing. Noise cancellation, transparency mode, and off. You can go in here, press and hold your AirPods. You can change that to activate Siri or Google Assistant, or you can go back and have it scroll through your noise cancellation transparency mode. I'm going to leave it there for now. Ear tip fit test on here. Not an accurate ear tip fit test. Now, if I play the music, it will say I have a good seal, but any silicone tip I have, it's going to say I have a good seal. And it does work. If you take them out, it's going to recognize that they're not in your ear. It won't even allow you to do it. It says noise level too high. And if we put one in, it's going to recognize that this one's not in my ear, and it will not give you the real test. So overall, not bad. Now, in-ear detection on here does work. You can use one at a time. Battery life on here is going to be about 4 hours. I did get 3.5, 4 hours, no problem on here before I had to charge. Now, if we go into Control Center, you can see it does have the real logo for the AirPod Pros, not the AirPod 2 logo, but the real one. And these buttons do work down here. They do scroll through. Noise cancellation, transparency mode, and off. Now, if we go out of here, again, no spatial audio on here, no multi-device connection, but what you can do, and it's kind of cool, you still can go into accessibility, you can go down to AirPods, and you can go in, and you can control a few different things. Now, most of these buttons don't do anything. They're just kind of there for show, but it even says spatial audio on here, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't work. So I'm going to play some music. We're going to start the testing, and we'll check them out, see how good they are. Plenty of volume. These things are definitely loud enough. And as far as sound quality goes, they sound really good. There is some bass. It's punchy. It sounds good. It's clear. Overall, these are probably the best sounding clones, AirPod Pro clones, that I've ever used. They sound really good. Now, don't compare these to the originals. The originals sound much better. Definitely more bass on the originals, and it's more clear. These are a little more muffled, but for what they are, they sound really good. So we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna do a mic test. Let's check out those dual mics with the noise cancellation technology and see if the mics are improved. What up, guys? Hi-City's AirPod Pro clones. another version, the version 4.5. These are the latest and greatest. Hopefully the mic is improved. Let me know. Now, listening to content on here, watching YouTube videos, Netflix, you're not going to have any delay. Everything's in sync just like it should. iOS, Android, it doesn't matter what you're on, it will be fine, perfectly in sync. So we're gonna keep going. Let's check out the touch controls. Now, touch controls work very well on here. In my opinion, just as good as the originals. A lot of times on AirPod Pro clones, you have to find that sweet spot, and it's very difficult sometimes to get the controls to do what you want it to do. These work really good, instant every time. I dig it, probably the best I've ever used on a pair of clones. So music is playing, one force touch on the right, gives you that real sound like the originals. It pauses, hit it again, and it plays. Left side, pauses, and plays. If I hit it again, and this is how you answer and end a phone call. Now, 2 on the right or left will go to the next track, and it works instantly. And I'm not even, these are just as good as the originals as far as I'm concerned with touch controls. Now 3 will go back to the previous track that started the song over. Now it'll go back. And if we force touch and hold for 2 seconds, it will scroll through your transparency mode, noise cancellation. And again, you can change that to have it activate Siri in the control settings in Bluetooth. Now, let's talk about ANC and transparency mode. These are not as good as the original AirPod Pros. Of course, they're not as good. ANC on the real AirPod Pros are fantastic. Transparency mode, some people like it, some people don't like it, but it does what it's supposed to do. It lets in that ambient sound, right? So you can kind of see where your surroundings, if you want to be safe or whatever, if you want to have a conversation. These, transparency mode's okay. ANC, it does work. It's more of a hybrid ANC. It's not meant to fully block out things like on the real ones, but for what it is, it works fairly well. Now, I tried out ANC a bunch of times on here, listening to content, had TVs on in the background, music on in the background, and it does take out a lot of the rumblings, the low-end noises, but of course you're going to still hear the voices and the higher-end noises. And for what it is, it's not bad. At least we have something on here. ANC does work. Transparency mode, it's okay. ANC, in my opinion, it works better on here than transparency mode does, but ANC does work. And again, it's a hybrid, right? It's not as good as the originals, and there's much better ones out there in the earbud market. And if you follow the channel, I've done some hybrid ANC clones or hybrid ANC earbuds, and this is kind of similar. It takes out like maybe 25, 30 decibel level of noise from these, so it's okay. That's where it is. It's okay. It's not the greatest ANC. Don't go in expecting these are going to be like the real ones, because they're not as far as noise cancellation goes. But it's a start. At least we have it. It does work. It does do something. And you will notice that it is working. Another thing with ANC, you will also notice that it is on because you can hear it working. There is a significant hum in your ear when ANC or transparency mode is working. So just so you know, it's not quiet. If it is working, you are going to hear it in your ears. It's not overwhelming, but it is there. It's loud enough to where you notice it. So keep that in mind. ANC transparency mode, it's getting there, right? We finally have it. This is still probably the best pair and the closest pair to the originals I've ever tested overall with the way the touch controls work. Wireless charging does work. I did test that. In-ear detection works. ANC transparency mode, at least we have it, right? It doesn't work as good as the originals. Sound quality on here is probably the best I've heard on a pair of Pro clones. Overall, not bad at all. The High City AirPod Pro 4.5 AirPod Pro clones. That's it for the video, guys. Overall, these things, are they worth 70 bucks? If there is a pair of clones that are worth that price, these are them. Just keep in mind what I'm telling you. ANC transparency mode, there's a hum. It's not as good as the originals. We will probably never have a pair as good as the originals, but we do have it, a working pair. So that is a plus. We are moving forward as far as the clone technology goes. Overall, not bad at all. Probably the best pair of clones that I've tested so far. That's it, guys. I'll be back soon. Peace.